want you to go back to a place, to one of the most significant days in your life. Whether it was a day where you achieved something you wanted for a really long time, or whether it was a day that you lost something and you never thought you'd have to live without. Now, if you really did think back to that, it probably accomplished one of two things. Either you reminisce back to something really awesome that happened in your life, and it puts you in a little bit of a better mood, or you thought back to something that really brought you down, and now you're in a sufficiently worse mood than you were about a minute ago. In which case, I apologize. But that's part of my point. The fact that a thought can make us feel something so real. Thoughts and feelings are very dependent on one another. I feel that I'm credible to talk about this because one of the most important things that I feel that I've learned is that nothing that you go through is ever any more or any less than what you choose to make it. You can take something, you can use it to build you, or you can use it to break you. It just depends where you have your head at with it. Today my goal is to bring attention. Oh my goodness. The purpose of my speech today is to persuade you to try. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Dad. Today the purpose of my speech is to try to persuade you to change your frame of mind, to take a step in a more positive direction, to try to filter out all of the negative inputs in our life and gear our energy towards something more constructive. First, I'm going to bring attention to the media's tendency to focus on negative issues. And then I'm going to focus on the effects of constantly connecting. I'm sorry, this is going nowhere right now. I can't do this. I can't even like open my mouth.
Do you have any water? Do you need water?
First, I want to bring attention to the media's tendency to focus on negative issues. And then I want to touch on the effects of being constantly connected to media and the effects of that on our well-being. And hopefully convince you to start creating a positive mindset for yourself by redirecting your energy away from the negative things in your life and towards the more positive things you can focus on. I'm trying to convince you to take control of your emotions by consciously making a decision to put your mind in a more positive place. Just out of curiosity, I did a database search on Washington Post databases. And when I searched war, I came up with 90,000 results. When I searched crime, I came up with 40,000 results. When I searched success, I only came up with 20,000. And when I searched happy, I only came up with a measly 14,000. A main problem in our society is that our media is obsessed with our downfalls. There's no reason that we should have 4 times as many articles about war as we do about success. As a society and as individuals, we have far more experience succeeding than we do with any kind of warfare. According to an article from Issues and Controversies in December of 2009, media uses negative issues to attract attention and to make more money. That means that the purpose of our news isn't to inform, but it's to attract us, and it's attracting us in all the wrong ways. Mass media tends to disregard things like local teams making it to nationals, or people overcoming diseases to make room for publicizing things about crime and violence on the news. As December 28, 2011, among the crucial information about Jennifer Lopez and her boyfriend at the beach, Yahoo.com's homepage posted links to articles having to do with things like death by hazing and the US and Pakistan discrepancies. Because of the things on nightly news and our online sources and our daily paper, because our online sources, our nightly news and our daily papers are littered with things like crime, poverty, violence, and war, our minds are too. Things that we would usually try to keep off our things that we would usually try to keep off our minds are constantly reinforced and are beaten into our memory, forcing us to repeatedly consider what we wouldn't normally pay attention to on our own. According to the Chicago Tribune in 2011, by an author, 78% of the population uses the internet. And that means that nearly 80% of our population has instant access to any of the information on the internet at any time. But when there's articles like there are on Yahoo where it's just demonstrating negative effects, we're just infecting our brains with the sad stories that these articles are telling. Another problem that our society faces is that we're all so plugged into communication and the media that we're constantly having these negative outlets shot at us. With all the negativity floating around the process, it's no wonder it affected our life. I'm sure you've seen things online, or seen fights on Facebook, or seen things on Facebook that have started fights in real life. And these are the thoughts in your head that make you feel a certain emotion. Being so connected, we're constantly reacting to the information we're processing, and the way that we react to it is often relates very much to the kind of information that we're taking in. So if we're taking in negative information, we're going to be having negative reactions. Our constant exposure to this information makes us vulnerable to it. Something as insignificant as a radio commercial or a text message could say something that just really doesn't sit well with you and causes a negative emotional reaction, which can in turn create a vicious pattern of negative thoughts and emotions that can spiral into a bad day, or a bad 2 days, or a bad week, or a bad month. But, on another note, if a bad thought can cause such an extreme reaction, can a good thought and a positive energy do the same thing? If one negative thought can cause you to be upset and to think more negative things, why can a positive thought bring you up because you think positive things? It can cause a chain reaction that improves your day, or your tomorrow, or your next week, or your next month, or the rest of your life. Well, we're not likely to single-handedly filter out the media and all the negativity in it, and we are also not likely to solve all the problems in the world that our media thrives on. By adjusting how we approach issues and look at them, we can reduce the stress we feel and make our own lives happier. To do this, I ask you to do a couple of things. First, I want you to contradict the mass media and its tendencies to focus on problems. Instead of focusing on problems, focus on solutions. Think of how things can get better versus why things are bad. Stop focusing on what's lacking and focus on what you can be grateful for, what you have in your life that you can thrive on. Focusing on things that bring us down only do just that, they bring us down. Instead of feeding into things that stress us out and causes negative energy, let your mind wander. When you're in a bad mood, think back to a time that you were having a good day, or think of something in your life that makes you happy, or think about a goal that you want to achieve and what you can do to achieve it. After you start making lemonade out of the lemons that life gives you, try overlooking so much of media's bad vibes and sunny via its technology. In an article by Terry Gawonsky from the Chicago Tribune in 2010, we're advised to reduce stress by not watching news and not reading or not going on the internet before bed. So today, my goal was to open your mind to a more positive way of thinking. We discussed the media and how it purposely focuses its negativity and how that sucks you in. It talks about getting caught up in it and how it's detrimental to yourself. And finally, I gave you some tools to start crossing some of the cons off your list and adding to the pros. Try to remember that happiness is not just a choice, happiness is a choice, not just a set of circumstances and everything you decide. Which is just, if you don't believe me in how positive things can affect your life, it's just full Smith method.
We picture something, we commit ourselves to it, and that is a physical thrust towards realization that we can put into the universe. That the universe is not not a thing that's going to push us around. That the world and people and situations are not something that's going to push us around. That we are going to bend the universe and command and demand that the universe become what we want it to be.